I've never really done this before, so first of all I want to kind of show you something. This is how I prepared. I used an Excel spreadsheet. So I don't know if anyone has ever prepared using an Excel spreadsheet before, but I thought that was kind of a significant part of the whole thing, and so I was kind of, basically what has happened to me is the Lord kind of took me through the fire. Does anyone ever go running and they don't enjoy running? Right? You know how like before you go running, everything's awesome, and then you actually are running and it's like, oh my gosh, this sucks, right? And then you get to the end and it's, oh, that's a relief. But then I guess if you do it enough times, it becomes quite pleasant. But and I've periodically got there before. But right as I was kind of going through this whole experience in my life, kind of towards the end of going through the fire, I was driving my car to work, and I felt the Lord say, "You need to share this with people." And so I thought, okay, well, I can talk at the house church, that'd be cool. And it was almost like he was saying, no, I kind of want you to share it with more people. And then I was thinking, well, maybe, I don't know how I'm going to do this, maybe I don't know how I would go and talk at a church or something. It's kind of like outlandish. So, and then I thought, well, let me just kind of, call people and invite them to come here. So that's kind of how this whole thing evolved. And basically what the Lord has taken me through is kind of leaves me with two real words for the evening. And the one is that anyone can hear from God. And the other one is that is really kind of like a word of encouragement. What are we doing about God's promises? So, kind of want to go back to almost 10 years. So, on March 8th, which is 3 days ago, actually March 7th, I boarded a plane in South Africa and moved. 10 years ago, on March 7th, I moved here. And I arrived on March 8th, because the whole traveling thing takes a while. And just before I came, I was really praying about, what was it that God was doing with me. And one of the key scriptures that He gave me was Deuteronomy 8. And so I'm just going to read this. It says, "Be careful that you do not forget the Lord your God, failing to observe His commands, His laws, and His decrees that I'm giving you this day. Otherwise, when you eat and you are satisfied, when you build fine houses and settle down, and when your herds and flocks grow large," I have a fine house and I have a flock of one dog. It doesn't quite grow very large. That's okay. He's a big dog. Your silver and gold increase and all you have is multiplied. Then your heart will become proud and you'll forget the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. He led you through the vast and dreadful desert, that thirsty and waterless land with its venomous snakes and scorpions. He brought you water out of hard rock. He gave you manna to eat in the desert, something your fathers had never known, to humble you and to test you, so that in the end it might go well with you. You may say to yourself, "My power and the strength of my hands have produced this wealth for me." But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth, and so confirms His covenant, which He swore to your forefathers as it is today. So I got that word just before I left South Africa, and the significance of it was that I was kind of coming to the land of milk and honey when I was moving here to America. Not that South Africa was the desert, but I mean, it's kind of just, you guys get the picture. And then this also popped up again recently when I was praying about, should I talk about this? And the whole point of what I'm going to say tonight is that, I don't want to say that my power and the strength of my hands have produced this wealth, but rather the Lord, my God, has given me, the ability to produce wealth. And it was, I felt that I needed to, not that we've made a ton of wealth or anything, but you'll hear that later on. But I needed to kind of proclaim it, right, to put it out there. So, I'm just kind of building on how I got to this point as well. And in 2000, when Valerie and I were actually, I think were we even dating? No, we were just friends. Valerie was trying to decide which man she was gonna. There was this other guy who was kind of part of the group, and he was like the full-on musician and really just always going, striving after God and all these things. And I was like in the business world, right? Just working away, right? And we go to this meeting, and this guy prophesies over a few of us. And he prophesied over me and said that the Lord was giving me a kingly and marketplace anointing. And that was part of the spreadsheet. That's why I did the spreadsheet, because I'm in the marketplace, right? And also another important part of this spreadsheet is that on the left-hand side I have the physical world, and on the right-hand side I have the spiritual world, and I have dates, how the spiritual and the physical world kind of go together. So that's kind of the significance. That's why I used a spreadsheet, because they're a real pain in the butt to actually do it. But I still wanted to prove a point. So anyway, so he gave us anointing, basically this word of a kingly anointing. And Valerie was like, do I want to spend a life moving from place to place with this other musician guy? Or do I want to have a life of leisure with this man? You'll know the rest of the story.
My girl.
I'm glad she made the right choice. So anyway, that's kind of setting the stage to how this whole thing evolved. And I would say up until about November, for 3, 4, 5 years prior to that, I was kind of spiritually coasting, and I was really enjoying being comfortable and not living by faith, and just kind of enjoying not being overly stressed, although I did have stress in my life. But I certainly wasn't. I kind of had really forgotten how to hear from God, and I did in some instances, but Valerie was always the one who kind of, Valerie, are the Chargers going to win? Yes. Okay. Yes. Valerie, are the Chargers going to win? I'm not hearing anything. Oh no.